Well, hello there, brothers and sisters of WoT Blitz universe. You're watching WoT Blitz Addict again. Welcome back to the channel. And hey, it's Sunday again. That means I have a subscribers replays for you all. Today we're gonna have heavy tanking again. First one is from my clanmate and amigo Feral and his WZ-111. By the way, my editing software gained a fade finally, so you'll have some nice editing. At least I'm trying to make some progress on my channel with editing stuff. So first of all, you already know this tank. You should already know this tank. I don't know if I already reviewed it, but it's let's say it's not special tank. It's typical tank like an IS-5, IS-3, Chinese line, the pike nose tank. It's okay. The gun is quite accurate, even though dispersion says otherwise. But it's a average tank. It's an average, typical Chinese, Russian heavy. And my amigo Feral kind of likes it. And I don't know how long is he playing it, but this tank is quite cool, to be honest. And I kind of like it too. I played some games in it since I have it in my garage, so I just played some games. But this Russian accuracy really doesn't give me any great feelings about the gun handling. So yeah, I kind of like IS-3. I really enjoyed it, and I think if I will be playing this tank again, I will probably also enjoy it. But right now I'm playing my Camera most of the time, and so Object 252 just to compare those tanks, and just yeah, both are quite interesting, but in different terms. Of course, Object in terms of armor, and Camera for mobility, gun handling, and this large alpha. But let's get back to the game. As you can see, the team is falling apart. It's 5 against 6 right now, and my amigo here is trying to do his best to just sit here. It's 5 against 4, and enemies are pushing quite hard. As you can see, he's thankfully they're not focusing him, and that means that he still can be effective over here and just save his hit points. As you can see, he's on full HP. He's in the middle of the action, and he seems to be more or less invisible for the enemies. I have no idea why they're just ignoring him. That's good for him. That means he can deal damage, he can farm some damage, and keep his hit points. And the medium tanks are quite gonna struggle to pen this tank. Of course, it's not like a Russian tank when you have a lot of spaced armor all around. But still, the effectiveness of this armor is based on the angling, so it's not about the thickness of the armor. I don't know how he just has configured his tank with equipment and so on, but still, it's I think he went for extra hit points. As you can see, he has 1,899 hit points. Yeah, so he went for the hit points, but I don't know how he could just made the rest of the tank. And here's the T-28, my beloved T-28. It's a joke, of course, because it's a terrible tank. As you can see, it looks like it's armor-wise, it's really good, but when I drive it, well, most of the tanks I get just simply punch through my armor. Basically, probably because the enemies, when they see it incoming frontally, they are just switching to Pramo and just pen my lower plate. Basically, I guess that's the case. But here my amigo is trying to deal with this one-shot T-28 because it has nice gun, nice alpha gun, and nice reload. So he would be more of a problem than the IS-3, because the IS-3 has the longer reload time, and he's not the brightest player. You can tell because he was sitting here for so long, just sitting somewhere at the back, basically doing nothing, and now he's trying to simply clear the IS-3 to get rid of the AMX, and AMX doesn't have great pen, but since he's on the side of my friend here, that means that he still has shots and he can unfortunately punish him, but he saved his hit points, and that's great because now he can stand the heat and he can deal with both of them at the same time. Nice side scraping over here, just reverse side scraping. I do it all the time in this kind of tanks, and it really works great. If you can angle your tank, even the back of your tank is still gonna have some bounces. And soon the AMX will clip out, and probably he's done it right now, so that means he's empty. He's on long low reload, and my amigo can finish him off. So he ends up with 4 kills, 4,476 damage, ace tanker, top gun, high caliber, a steel wall, and Coloban of metal. Great game. Thanks for sending it. Nice base XP. Really great game. And the second one is from my another from my clanmates and personal brother of Feral from the first replay, and his Thunder. I have another mastery. I have 2 more masteries of Thunder, but I decided to put this one here because it fits my heavy tanking episode of your replays, of your mastery replays. So I put it here, and soon you will have a single mastery in the mastery series, probably in a couple of days, because I'm trying to put them in the order they are appearing on my Discord server. So you're gonna have it soon. And he's tuning with I don't know his tune mate, to be honest, but he's tuning with a guy in the KV-1S, and the main difference between KV-1S and the Thunder is the gun depression, a slightly different armor profile, and mobility. It has exactly the same gun with 400 alpha Russian, typical Russian gun, the derp, and the main difference is I don't really find a huge difference in mobility. There's a slight difference, but that's doesn't mean that Thunder is slower. But the main advantage of this tank is 10 degrees of gun depression. KV-1S has only 8, and believe me, 8 comparing to 10 is way better. Like, it really can give you some shots like this shot here. You won't be able to pull this out in the KV-1S. You would have to poke out and expose your hull, and my amigo here can just simply shoot this tiger and don't expose his tank. As you can see, he was just on the ridge line. He missed just a bit, but it was his mistake. It wasn't the gun this time. But still, he's the main disadvantage, maybe, I will tell you about the main disadvantage of this tank is the long reload. Like, you need to wait about, I think, 18 seconds, as I remember correctly. We'll check it when he reloads finally, and it will take some time, as you can see. But I think it was about 18 seconds. Let's see, maybe we'll see before he shoots. Yeah, it's almost 18 seconds of reload, which is really terrible. So that means you have... it's almost like driving a KV-2. When you shoot and you need to hide while you're reloading, otherwise your armor profile can't stand it. Of course, you can side scrape a bit in this tank. It's basically, the playstyle doesn't difference. There's no difference between KV-1S and Thunder in playstyle, but it's the Thunder gives you a bit of an edge with this 10 degrees of gun depression. But I will make a review of this tank, and then we're gonna talk about the armor profile. I'm gonna show you the armor profile. I'm gonna tell you about some slightly differences, but there's no need to talk about it here. So just let's get along with the game. So as you can see, it's 4 against 5 right now. But thankfully the enemies aren't focusing him, but still you can see this gun, like, even if it's fully aimed, it's really not reliable, and that's the main thing that I really hate in Russian tanks. sometimes the RNG just says yes, and you have the Stalin guided shells, and they just hit on full blur, and other times you just wanna aim in close range, and you're still gonna miss. So yeah, that's the case. And now it's suddenly it's became 4 against 2. The team played as a team, which is great, and you can just now you can simply, you see this this M6 is a one shot, so he's not really trying to push, and that means that my amigo has the hit points to push on this ARL and deal with it, and then go and deal with the second one. So he's going for the ARL. I would go around just to use my gun depression a bit more, but he was just shooting on the move, and thankfully he just didn't miss. That means that he dealt with one enemy, and now the only one left is this Type 58. And this Type 58 isn't really much of a problem since it's a bottom tier and he doesn't have great pen. So another great game, 4 kills, 3230 damage. Of course, he has a nice ace tanker, high caliber, top gun, and healthy amount of XP as well. So thanks again for sending it, and we are proceeding to the last game, and the last game is from my subscriber Lucky Mr. Vodka. I will always tell him Lucky because he really has some luck. If you don't know why, check my tank chats. In one of the tank chats we are talking about Lucky Mr. Vodka, but now let's maybe talk a bit about the tank. So it's M103 Tier 9 heavy, American heavy, with the typical for the American line hull down playstyle. But this tank really isn't that spectacular. The turret is quite bouncy, but it's not as hard as the T-32, T-34 or other tanks from the tech tree, from the heavy line, so it's not so reliable, especially when you're facing tier 10s, like you can see here. His bottom tier on Castilla, and I really not really sure why he pushed this side. Of course, it's a heavy side, you can push the heavy side, but I'm not really fan of this position here. Of course, it can be a strong position if you don't have many enemies on the opposite sides of this ridge. So you can have shots on the middle, you can have shots on the medium side, but as long as the enemies are sitting in front of you, it's really a death trap sometimes, and there's so many ways to shoot this position from the other side. It's really hard to do something, but Mr. Vodka is Mr. Vodka, and he always drinks and drives his tanks, so that means he's gonna pull it off as usual. So yeah, so the best thing he's doing here, like playing very patiently. He's not trying to poke out too much. He's trying to get some bounces on his turret and his upper front plate, because angled upper front plate can create some troll bounces. He's trying to use some cover here. He knows that there are 2 TDs, now it's only 1 TD sitting, the waffle is sitting out there on the left side, and there are 2 heavy tanks over here, and E75 on the right side, as you can see. So that means he's more or less alone, and he needs to clear the gun. And he does it perfectly. I don't know why IS-8 pushed this side. He should be playing with his mediums, because there he would be more effective than on the heavy side. But well, if he decides to push the heavies, then good for him. And now my amigo is trying to get the shot on the VK-72. Unfortunately, he missed his bottom plate. Now he decides to push, roll around, because he has the mobility, way better mobility than the VK. Of course, VK has better armor profile, but as long as they keep pushing together, that was unfortunate that they bounced each other, like hit each other. That means that he lost a teammate, but this won't be an issue in this game. but it's a bit unfortunate in games when you have situations like that. We all have situations like that. I also have a situation like that when I was circling a heavy in my medium tank, and one of my teammates decided to do the same thing, and unfortunately when I had to just hold for a second to secure the hit, because it was a crucial hit, he just hit me, and he got cleared by the enemy tank because of that, because he was in the front of his gun. So yeah, and now it's 3 against 2 suddenly, so it's a good thing. And he knows that there are TDs here. He's not trying to push some very aggressively, but thankfully this bad shot was AFK. I thought he was driving around, but maybe he was spotted by some of the mediums in this position over here. So that means he can farm some damage. As you can see, he's sitting on over 4k already, and it's gonna be a bit more, because now there's only a waffle left, and he's more or less a one-shot right now. If the bad shot low rolls or he's empty or gets cleared, I think he will get killed. That means that my amigo can finish off, and it's gonna be really close, close one. Without aiming, YOLO vodka style, and just and then he gets it in the last second. Great thing, really lucky shot, but he's lucky Mr. Vodka, so I'm not really surprised. So great game, 4 kills, mastery, top gun, and healthy, almost 1.5k base XP. Great game, great damage, 4.5k. It's really good. So basically that's all for this episode. Next episode of your replays will be on next Sunday. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to my channel, it really helps a lot. We're getting more and more subscribers every day. You can join my Discord, the link is in the description below. Take care, bye bye, and catch you all on the battlefield.